No one wants to lose their job. Well, unless your job is really awful, then you're probably pushing people out of windows just hoping you get fired. Try super kicking someone through one instead. It's a tried and tested method. It stands to reason, though, that not many WWE employees fancy getting the boot. Working in the entertainment industry is a dream for most, so once you're there, you want to hang on to it for as long as possible. But there are some things you would never believe you'd be fired for, and that's where WWE just loves to prove you wrong. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this is 10 unusual ways to lose your job with WWE. Number 10. Stand up for yourself. Yep, you heard that right. Apparently, if someone gets in your face and insults you, that's okay. You're a chump. You don't deserve any better, so tuck your head between your legs and deal with the shaming you've just received. Only that's nonsense, and it's the insulter who should be punished. In August of 2014, however, it was Alberto Del Rio who fell foul of such events. After social media manager Cody Barbieri made a racist remark towards the former world champ, Del Rio demanded an apology. As you would. That's a completely stupid and dumb thing to do. When Cody refused, Alberto did what any of us would do. He slapped him right in the face. Claiming he was the victim and threatening legal action, which is like kicking someone in the balls and then claiming it's you that needs to take a minute to compose yourself, WWE caved to Cody's demands and fired Del Rio. Admittedly, the company was just trying to avoid a headache, but come on, Alberto should have been seen as a hero. Number 9. Sell knockoff merchandise. We all know Earl Hebner. Hell, even casual fans recognize his face, and he's been involved with some of the most legendary pro wrestling stories over the last 25 years. This does not, however, give you the right to sell illegal merchandise. I shouldn't even have to say that out loud. It's utterly ludicrous. And yet in July of 2005, both Earl and Brother Dave were fired from the WWE for, you guessed it, selling unlicensed merchandise. While they didn't sink so low as to sell back alley t-shirts, and you know the ones, they often feature an image of John Cena that appears to have been drawn by a 12-year-old. The brothers were shifting apparel through a St. Louis-based shop that was not above board. To his credit, Earl claimed this wasn't the case and that everything in the store was 100% legal. But Earl also told Bret Hart that he wouldn't screw him over at Survivor Series. So who are we to believe? Number 8. Forget to tuck your shirt in. Didn't your mum always tell you to brush your teeth, comb your hair and tuck your shirt in? You're damn right she did. And while you never understood the importance of it all, it's because old Mumsy knew that one day you may run into Vincent Kennedy McMahon. It's no surprise that the chairman of the board prefers his wrestlers to have a certain look. Being a gym freak or over 6'5" is undoubtedly going to help your cause. Someone who had neither of these, though, was veteran superstar Gangrel. An established name with a very cool gimmick and entrance throughout the Attitude Era, the Vampire was cut from his contract in 2001 when his shirt untucked itself from his trousers. Why did this cause such alarm backstage? Because it exposed his gut in the middle of the match, disgusting McMahon to such a degree he axed him from the company. And that is perfectly normal. Number 7. Interrupt the national anthem. Everyone loves Dave Fit Finlay. His peers, current WWE superstars, management, cooks, cleaners, you, your friend Barry. His influence has run through the company for years, and his acceptance of any punishment he may deserve is taken in the proper manner. This is why he understood his fate following a house show in 2011 when the Irishman instructed The Miz to interrupt the national anthem in order to get more heat on him before WrestleMania 27. Unfortunately, not only were many fans in attendance offended, but also several members of the National Guard who had come to watch the show. Given all the charity work the WWE does with the military, it's not something they could let slide and decided to part ways with Fit. Thankfully, a year later, he was hired back to take care of Hornswoggle. Number 6. Nearly kill everyone. If you almost murder everyone in your company, you have to be fired. There's literally no getting around it. It's such an obvious rule. 100% of organizations don't even need to tell you this when you join. It's not like you get a welcome pack on day one that says, don't be late, don't eat at your desk, and don't kill. Apparently, this may have to be introduced as part of WWE's induction pack, as Mr. Perfect never got the memo. During the infamous plane ride from hell in May 2002, an intoxicated Perfect just wanted to wrestle. In his drunken state, genuine friend Brock Lesnar seemed like a great opponent. Goaded on by Paul Heyman, who told Brock Lesnar he had to prove himself in front of his peers, the fight got out of hand to the point Triple H had to try and break them up. Given this was 3 huge men rolling around on an in-flight plane, though, it should come as no great shock that at one point they all slammed into the aircraft door. Somehow it withstood the 800+ pounds that had just smashed into it, but that didn't stop Perfect from being fired on the spot. Number 5. Choke someone with a tie. Don't choke people with ties. It's not cool, you mess up your best suit and you'll lose your job. Is that what you want? No, it's not. Proof of how bad this can be exists on the June 7th, 2010 episode of Raw, where then NXT member Daniel Bryan did just this. As the group laid waste to both famous superhero John Cena and CM Punk in one of the best beatdowns in years, Bryan saw an opportunity to rip ring announcer Justin Roberts' shirt off and choke him with his tie. As we've established though, you can't choke people with ties, especially when WWE sponsors were not pleased with the level of violence that it represented. Bryan was let go, but later returned to the company to enjoy one of the finest runs in years. So maybe it is okay. No, wait, it's not. Number 4. Wine on the internet. I can only imagine how rubbish Matt Hardy must have felt in 2005. Not only had he just found out that his girlfriend Lita was cheating on him with best friend Edge, but he then got fired for opening up about the whole situation on the internet. That's like seeing your house burning down, only to step back in horror and then being run over by a truck. Thankfully, fan support saw him rehired and put into a program with his now mortal enemy before events cooled down and Hardy was able to get on with his career. Fast forward to 2010 though, and Matt seemed to have completely forgotten everything he'd learned 5 years earlier. Already sent home from a European tour for disciplinary reasons, Hardy thought he'd head online to moan about the WWE product, how he was being used, and that he'd like his release. And then guess what? He got his release! I'm not sure if that's a victory or a failure. Number 3. Smile. Picture the scene. You're sitting at your desk at work, you're working hard. Sure, the company doesn't really give you the respect you deserve, but that's not going to stop you from giving 110%. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot your boss and decide to give him a nice, big smile. Then he fires you. This wasn't the exact situation that sealed Paul London's fate in 2008, but he was, more or less, fired from the WWE for smiling at Vince McMahon. The fallout from the fateful McMahon death angle the previous year, a group of wrestlers were lined along a hallway to watch the CEO walk to his soon-to-explode limo. While most averted their gaze, London stared straight at McMahon and shined his pearly whites. Stating he had no idea what the segment was leading to, this didn't stop the man being jobbed out on TV for the next year and constantly chastised for his behaviour. Then he was let go. Number 2. Do your job. Right, this one is a bit weird, but it's true, so just go with it. And get that head-scratching finger ready as logic slowly starts to creep in. We all remember Muhammad Hassan, a particularly tasteless and foolish gimmick that saw wrestler Mark Kapani play an American Arab who was tired of discrimination following 9/11. The icing on the cake was that WWE made him a heel. That's right, an innocent man who wanted to be treated as an equal was portrayed as a bad guy. Not only did this fuel discriminatory feelings among some small-minded fans, but the super push given to the wrestler got him resentment from the rest of the locker room. One story goes that a certain individual encouraged him to tell Eddie Guerrero to stop using the camel clutch, as that was Hussain's finishing move. Being that it was Eddie's father who invented the submission, he was not pleased, ensuring that everyone who would listen was aware of what had happened. Throughout all of this though, Kapani was just doing what he was told by the people that signed his checks. After a particularly tasteless and offensive terrorist-esque angle in 2005, the character was quickly dropped and banished from TV. Then Kapani was fired. Number 1. Assault Vince McMahon. You are not Steve Austin, and even if you are, you're not walking around when the cameras are off dishing out stone cold stunners to everyone who gets in your way. And if you are doing that, you're crazy and are headed to jail. Not everyone holds this information in their brain. Mostly because they're stupid. A word that could be used to describe what wrestler Nails did to Vince McMahon in 1992. Reportedly upset about his payoff from that year's SummerSlam, Nails decided it would be a spiffing idea to confront the owner of the company and scream in his face. As the situation intensified, Nails switched screaming to choking and was immediately fired. To date, no one has been fired for sneezing in front of McMahon, but that doesn't mean it's not on the cards soon. Let us know who you think will fall foul to this in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can even get me on Twitter at SimonMiller316. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and I'll chat to you again soon.